Helldivers 2 is a chaotic game. There's explosions everywhere, enemies are everywhere, it's constant chaos. So, of course, a very useful tool would be one that could control the chaos, sort of, in a way. That is what gas does. At least that's what it's supposed to do, though. It's not really effective at it, though. And here's why. But what does gas actually do, though? Well, it applies a damage over time effect, and also a confusion effect to the enemies that's supposed to make them sort of ignore you. Now this sounds pretty good, right? Enemies ignore you, and then they also passively take damage while ignoring you. However, the damage on it is abysmal, and the confusion effect, half of the time for me, doesn't even work. The actual damage it does is only 25 damage per second. Now, if we compare that to the other damage over time effect in the game, fire, that deals 3 times the amount, 100 damage. This makes it feel more like a vape cloud than actual toxic gas that can kill you. This is very, very evident when you're fighting something that doesn't go down in 5 hits like a hunter, say. If you're fighting something like an Alpha Commander or a Hive Guard, they take way longer to kill, and considering that the confusion effect doesn't happen half the time, you're going to get mauled to death before you can even see a single dent on them. Another way that this is visible is with the actual Helldiver you're playing as. When you start to take fire damage, you gotta dive, because if you don't, you'll die instantly pretty much. But with gas, you can basically ignore it, because the damage on it is so pathetically weak. Now, I do not want this to be a carbon copy of fire. That would completely destroy gas's entire identity. I just want Arrowhead to lean more into gas's crowd control aspect. But enough yapping about the actual effect itself. I want to now talk about how you can apply the effect and why those methods aren't exactly the greatest. The first method is the orbital gas strike stratagem. You call in the code, you throw it down, it calls in a gas strike. That, upon explosion, explodes into a cloud of gas. It's very, very straightforward. In my opinion, this is just completely overshadowed by the gas grenades, which are the second method of applying gas. The way they work is when you throw a gas grenade, it explodes into, well, gas. This is obviously better than the orbital gas strike because it's not taking up a stratagem slot. So you could just take something else instead of a gas strike and you'd be able to still get the effects of a gas strike with the grenades. The next method of applying gas is the gas mines, which are kind of alright. The way they work is that when you call in, it creates a minefield of gas mines that, when stepped on, each create a cloud of gas. The reason it's alright is because with other minefields, you step on one mine, you detonate a bunch of them because of the blast radius. With the gas mines, it's not like that. You step on one and you only really detonate one, which it creates a cloud of gas. And there's a bunch of these little mines, so it's a bunch of gas clouds. The next method of applying gas is the guard dog breath. This one is just completely sucks because all it does is just spritzes a bit of gas on an enemy and then just runs to the next enemy. It's just bad. Now the last method of applying gas is probably by far the worst one, and that is the sterilizer. The reason this stratagem is so utterly abysmal is its damage output. It only deals 30 damage per second. And that, compared to the flamethrower, whose damage is 150 per second, is just absolutely nothing. Alright, so we've gone over how to apply it and why it sucks, so how do we actually fix the problem? I've got a couple of ideas for this. First is, you make it so that the longer an enemy is inside a gas source, the more damage they take. It would basically be like a ramp-up effect where it gradually increases in damage over time. I feel like this would be particularly effective with things like the gas strike and the gas grenades and gas mines, because the confusion would keep the enemies inside the gas allowing for more damage to be dealt to them. I do doubt that this would happen though, as I feel like this would be it encroaching on fire's territory of being a DPS effect, and it would lean too far away from gas being crowd control. Another way that I think this could be buffed is if it slowed enemies. Because, like, imagine you're being chased by a charger, you throw a grenade at your feet, and it slows it down, allowing you to escape without it killing you. Now, I do have one final idea on how to buff gas. And out of all these ideas, I do feel like this would probably be the most likely one. And it's that when an enemy is infected with gas, they start attacking just anything that moves, basically. Now, the reason why I chose this as an idea is because it leans more into the distraction effect of gas that it currently has. Because, you know, if an enemy currently is exposed to gas, it'll get distracted and start attacking random spots, you know? But with this, it'll just start attacking anything that moves. And I feel like that, you know, would be a much better solution to the whole, like, this thing sucks problem. That's because its main issue is its damage and how it feels extremely just pathetically weak. So having the enemies attack each other would definitely help it as a crowd control, because you get a lot of damage when there's a lot of enemies, but not a lot when there's a very few amount of enemies. You understand? Now, I also feel like this would be the most likely change that they would make to gas out of these three that I just listed. I doubt that they will, but it would probably be the most likely. Because, at least in my opinion, it does kind of seem to like fit up with their design philosophy of make everything have a place. Anyways, that's it on my ideas on how to fix gas and make it not suck balls. If you like the video, I don't know, like a like or subscribe or something. I don't know. Bye.